everybody, welcome to my talk which aims to help any of you wanting to know about what a registered nurse degree apprenticeship is, how it works, how you apply and what qualifications you usually need. It's a simple overview that you'll find helpful, especially if you're trying to decide whether to do a registered nurse degree apprenticeship or use the more traditional nursing degree route. If you've got any questions at all, just put them in the YouTube comments and I answer all questions. Do check out my other videos on my YouTube channel, they're all free and I've got some great videos to help you prepare for future nursing interviews too. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. So what is a registered nurse degree apprenticeship? So there's two routes to become a registered nurse. You can either choose the traditional route at university where you self-fund and you pay your own tuition fees, you get a student loan to pay your course fees, or alternatively you can go down the apprenticeship route where the employer pays your tuition fees. They don't just pay them for nothing, they're hoping that you're going to stay with them as an employer and you are working for them. So you are employed and paid a wage during your apprenticeship, but you'll have no tuition fees, so nothing to pay back when you complete your apprenticeship. You don't pay tuition fees or training fees as the apprenticeship costs are covered by the employer. So you're earning while you're learning. Sometimes, or learning while you're earning, sorry, sometimes it's called on-the-job learning and the wages you have at the end of the month are yours and are not paid back. So what does this mean in practical terms? You apply for a nursing apprenticeship with an employer, and if you're successful at interview, you are signed up as an employee on an apprenticeship contract for as long as the apprenticeship lasts. A typical full-time apprenticeship contract will be 37.5 hours a week. Most apprenticeships will state a minimum number of hours required, so it might be 30 hours a week minimum, and if you can't commit to those defined minimum hours, you won't be offered an apprenticeship. So you must check with specific employers on what their specific apprenticeships require, as there's a range out there with different employers. A registered nurse degree apprenticeship usually takes 4 years full time to complete, but if you have prior learning and experience it could take less time. So for example, if you're a nursing associate, you've already completed a 2-year foundation degree, so you would only be doing an 18 month to 2-year top-up degree. On an apprenticeship, you work alongside staff and you are released to do your education. But as with all nursing degrees, including the traditional route, you're expected to do shift work. If you have childcare or other carer responsibilities, talk to the individual employer about how flexible they can be with shift patterns, as it depends on the employer offering the apprenticeship. A typical example nursing apprenticeship may be 2 days each week in practice placement learning, where you should be supernumerary. That means that you're not in the staffing numbers. Then you have another 2 days a week carrying out duties in your usual employment setting, where you will be in the staffing numbers. And then you have 1 day in the week on classroom-based study time. And different employers may have different requirements and use different models. So they may say that you have to work in the usual employment setting for 3 days a week, not 2. So it just very much depends on the employer. So do check that out when you're applying for your apprenticeship. So to become a registered nurse in the United Kingdom, you complete a Bachelor of Science degree. Now in England, this Bachelor of Science is a level 6 Bachelor of Science degree. If you do a registered nurse degree apprenticeship, it is exactly the same level and credits as a traditional level 6 pre-registration nursing degree. You do sometimes hear people saying that a registered nurse degree apprenticeship is not the same level as the traditional degree, when it is. The content and curriculum on all registered nurse degrees must meet the standards for pre-registration nursing programmes from our professional regulator, the Nursing Midwifery Council, and this is why all registered nurse degree courses are the same level. However, a nursing associate apprenticeship is not the same level. A nursing associate is a different role to a registered nurse, and you complete a level 5 foundation degree to become a nursing associate, not a level 6 Bachelor of Science registered nurse degree. I have simple videos on my YouTube channel that practically explain the differences. So the difference between a support worker, assistant practitioner, nursing associate and registered nurse, and a video specifically on the nursing associate role. What does a nursing associate do and how to become a nursing associate? So do check out those videos for more details. And you must check which type of apprenticeship is being offered by the employer. Is it a level 6 registered nurse degree apprenticeship or a level 5 nursing associate associate foundation degree, so you don't apply for the wrong one. Just to note, in England, a Bachelor of Science degree is level 6 credits in 2023. In Scotland, they use a different framework for their degrees, so the Scottish degree levels and credits are numbered differently. Also, we never know, in higher education frameworks, they may change, and a degree credit system might change, so it might be called something different and not be level 6. But the key difference is a nursing associate is a foundation level to a Bachelor of Science, so do be aware of that. But the principle is the same. Always check what apprenticeship that you're applying for and it's the correct one for your needs. So in the United Kingdom, we have 4 main fields of nursing: adult nursing, children nursing, learning disabilities, and mental health. You can apply for any of those 4 fields using either the traditional route or an apprenticeship route, depending on what the employer is offering. Not all employers will offer every field, as it depends on what services they deliver, as you're going to be working in those services on your apprenticeship. So how do you choose which field? You may have already enjoyed caring for children or family members, so you have experience supporting people with a learning disability or caring for adults or older people already. You may have had some placements during health and social care college courses or work experience that has helped you decide. But if not, you can book some informal visits and work experience with employers. There are also helpful national NHS department websites with great information about the different fields of nursing. We've got the Nursing Midwifery Council website, NHS Health Careers and NHS Employer websites too. And as well as those websites, they have some great videos, and we've got Department of Health NHS career videos, for example, where nurses talk about different fields. So how do you learn on your degree apprenticeship? You learn in a range of ways in any nursing degree course. Let's take a typical registered nurse degree apprenticeship. You might have 2 days of practice learning in placement where you should be supernumerary. That means you're not in the staffing numbers. On placement, you work towards developing your clinical knowledge and skills guided by registered nurse proficiencies. If you check the Nursing Midwifery Council website, you can view the standard of proficiency for registered nurses that represent the knowledge, skills, attributes all registered nurses must demonstrate. And your placements may start in your base area or the area where you've been offered your apprenticeship, or you might have placements somewhere else in that institution. Then you might have 2 days of carrying out duties in your usual employment setting, your base area, where you are in the staffing numbers, and you'll be building up experiences, observing and learning on the job here too, as you develop your communication skills, working with other team members and allied health professionals. Then you have 1 day a week in classroom or study time. On the theoretical side, you might have some blended learning, a mixture of face-to-face seminars and lectures. There may be some university virtual sessions. You might also have some self-directed work, assignments and assessments to complete. And nursing courses have a range of assessments: essays, poster presentations, oral presentations and clinical exams. Then you might have group tutorials and peer support groups and one-to-one tutor supervisory sessions where you reflect on experiences and analyse and learn from others. So a real range of experiences on a degree apprenticeship, just the same as you would with a traditional degree. So how do you apply? At the moment, you apply for a registered nurse degree apprenticeship through an employer, and you will see these roles advertised locally and nationally. But please note, it's 2023 and the current government is aiming to increase the number of nursing degree apprenticeships. So in the future, the system for applications may change and it might become more centralised, but currently you apply as you would any other job through the employer, and the job description will state the apprenticeship that's available, and the details of the apprenticeship will be on the job advert, on the apprenticeship job advert. You will notice that adverts are often out at certain times of the year too. They're not out every month, for example, and the employer or the university might have a recruitment event or an open day promoting their nursing apprenticeships. Often the application link is promoted at this event, ready for the first cohort to start in September. If there's 2 cohorts a year, for example, a January and a September intake, then they might have 2 lots of open days that year or recruitment events. To find out when events are running, all employers and universities will have a program lead or an apprenticeship lead, and you can contact them and ask them questions directly too. You should be able to find out who the lead is on university websites or through course administrators as well. When you look at the application criteria and person specification on the advert that you're applying for, it's important to read what experiences, qualifications and certificates that you require to apply for this registered nurse degree apprenticeship, and how many UCAS tariff points that equates to. Each apprenticeship will specifically state the level they require, the certificates and what they accept. If in doubt, talk to the apprenticeship lead. Usually you must have GCSEs grade 3 or equivalent, or level 2 functional skills in maths and English. So the 2 GCSEs you should have are maths and English, or the equivalent. You should talk to universities directly if you have an international equivalent to see if they will accept it. You must also have a minimum of 2 A-levels or equivalent. So the equivalent may be an access course, access to higher education diploma, BTEC courses, national extended diplomas. You will see a list of courses, and they usually list them on the advert and the person's specification. But it's always worth contacting apprenticeship leads if you have completed a course that isn't listed, to see if it will still be accepted. A foundation degree in a health-related subject would be accepted, such as assistant practitioner or nursing associate. And we get lots of support workers who complete a nursing associate level 5 foundation degree over 2 years, who then go on and apply for a shortened top-up registered degree apprenticeship, the 18-month to 24-month top-up shortened version. Usually the registered nurse degree apprenticeship as a whole is a 4-year apprenticeship. To get onto a nursing associate course, you don't require A-levels, but you must have the maths and English as a minimum, GCSE grade C or equivalent, such as functional skills, level 2 maths and English too. And lastly, some employers will request experience in healthcare, and they may stipulate a time frame, for example, a year in a certain setting, in a specific setting. So, for example, 12 months experience in a hospital or a community clinical setting, but it depends on which employer. But I have seen some employers offering nurse degree apprenticeships direct to school leavers or people with no prior, maturer people with no prior healthcare experience, but then not as many of those around currently. So once you've applied, if your application is successful, you'll be called to interview. And the interview is usually a joint process between the university and the employer, which is providing the placements. So it's often a half day or a full day assessment. You usually have a standard panel interview in some form where you're asked interview questions and you're assessed on your values, your behaviours, your communication and your problem solving. You may have some group work or discussion as part of the assessment day, and interviewers will be assessing how you communicate and work with other group members. So I've got some really helpful videos free on my YouTube channel if you need to look at applying and you want some help with writing your personal statement, looking at interview tips and preparing for certain questions, looking at how to overcome nerves, questions to ask at the end of the interview, and tips for group nursing interviews and group discussion, which are often part of the day. And also got lots of videos for you if you are offered a place as a student nurse in the future, how to improve your reflective essays, how to look at improving presentations, and lots more topics on my YouTube channel. When looking at which route you should choose between a traditional university route or a registered nurse degree apprenticeship, it is helpful to consider some of the areas I've covered in this video. Everyone's got their own individual needs, and what suits one person may not suit another, but by looking into some of these areas it will help your decision making. So firstly, university experience. Do you want the full-time university experience, in which case pre-registration traditional may be better for you? Time-wise, do you want to gain your degree quicker? Pre-registration would be a full-time 3 years versus 4-year apprenticeship, or do you not mind if it takes an extra year? Funding. Do you prefer to earn a wage and have no student loan? Apprenticeship route would be more suitable. Part-time, do they offer a part-time option? So pre-registration, traditional often offer part-time options, and some apprenticeships are part-time as well. Placement options, do you want a wider range of placements? So pre-registration traditional may offer wider range of a wider range. Apprenticeships tend to offer placements across their services. So if you have an apprenticeship in a large NHS trust, that's where you will have your placements. Whereas if it's in a community setting or a mental health setting, again, that's where you'll have your placements. Do you prefer to be a paid employee or not? And this is where you need to talk to people who have completed courses on both either traditional or as a registered nurse degree apprenticeship. So I wouldn't listen to hearsay. Talk to people who are currently students. What are their actual experiences? Are they getting their supernumerary time on this apprenticeship? I've spoken to nursing students across the UK. Some students were on traditional routes, didn't feel supported. Some on apprenticeship routes who didn't feel supported, and vice versa. Some students who loved every minute of their apprenticeship and some that loved every bit of their traditional nursing programme. The standards of the courses and apprenticeships depend on the employer and the university. So do your due diligence and research. So good luck with any degree apprenticeships that you apply for. If you have any questions at all, put them in YouTube comments. I answer all questions. If you prefer to DM me privately, you can DM me on Twitter or my website. And if you're interested, I have 2 books. I'm an author of 2 books, How to Thrive as a Newly Registered Nurse and How to Prepare for Interviews and Develop Your Career Up to Senior Nurse. And those books, you can see the links in the YouTube description. So I wish you every success in your future careers as well.